Trackmania has a competition with thousands of players every day called Cup of the Day. The goal of this competition is to drive the best you can so you don't get eliminated. This means that the last player standing wins it all. The maps that you drive vary every day and come in many different styles like dirt, full speed, tech, and many more. However, there is one map style that stands out above the rest. On August 18th, 2023, I would load up Trackmania and join the Cup of the Day to witness a map style that has shown its face only once before. This is Khaki Cup of the Day, a map style that requires a lot of skill and luck and is extremely difficult to even finish. But in order to understand what this map truly is, we need to go back to the roots of Khaki. Khaki maps are filled with really hard jumps and bugs that are nearly impossible to even complete. But despite all that, players still love them. And every year there is a massive event hosted with around 75 Khaki maps to be played by the community. These are some of the wildest maps that you could ever imagine. However, there is only one problem. These maps are so hard to complete that pro players and even the map creators sometimes have to take over 100 hours to even complete the map once. So when I loaded up Cup of the Day and saw the name Khaki of the Day, I knew this was going to be a hard map, and boy, would I be right. To follow along with the map better, let's break the map down into 5 parts. Each part represents one trick that has to be done on the map in order to have the best time. Lucky for you, this map starts out with trick number 1. First, you drive in a straight line and get put into a spinning nosedive. You see, when you're in a spinning nosedive like this, if you drive forward, followed by steering in a direction you want to go, and then pressing your brake at the same time, your car will turn. This means that you are able to control the direction of your car, at least a little bit. Once you turn your car, you are then followed up by a little plastic bump. The goal is to hit the bump and land all the way at the top platform to take the booster. However, this is not a simple task, as getting the correct bounce is not as easy as it seems, which can cause you to completely miss and fall to the ground, which will result in a slower time. Once that part is complete, it is now onto trick number 2. You first go through this normal dirt turn, and then you go up to this jump. This is the location of trick number 2. When you go up the jump, you need to make sure you are steering fully to the left, and you want to get as little airtime as possible to not waste any time. When you do that, you will land backwards, in which you then need to back into this plastic wall, take the boosters, and get to the checkpoint. This trick is not very hard, but it can result in a lot of time loss if you make a mistake at all. Trick number 2 is now complete, and right after that is trick number 3. This one is a little more difficult than the previous trick, but not by a lot. When you drive through the checkpoint, you need to take all your speed onto the ice, and then by steering to the right and holding brake, your car will spin really fast. At the end of the ice, there is a plastic wall in which the goal is for the back of your car to hit it at the right angle, and it will bounce you up onto the next platform. However, this trick can have some problems when you land, and you will get a speed slowdown, making you slower than the other players. With that, we are now onto trick number 4, and this is by far the hardest trick on the map. First, the trick starts out with a simple jump and then a turn. This turn will require you to slide a little to get the exit speed, and then there are these purple pipes that are going to try to help you line up the jump. Let's take a quick look at the trick. When you gather your speed, you will go upside down in a loop and get launched into the air. The goal is to land on this plastic platform here so that you can head to the last part of the map. However, if you cut the jump too short or you don't have enough speed, then you won't make it, and you will have to respawn and lose a lot of time. You will see why this jump is the most difficult trick in the map later in the video. We are now onto the final part of the map, and that is trick number 5. This trick is not that difficult as long as you get the setup. You will first go through the checkpoint and go towards the top of this ramp. You will then take this red booster and start turning. When you do this, your car will fly through the air and keep spinning. There's a platform that you're aiming for so that you can perform what is called a bug slide. This is when your car is at a 90-degree angle, and when you hold forward, left or right, and backwards at the same time, your car will gain speed and turn at a very sharp angle. When performed well, it will look a little something like this. Now, like I had mentioned, this trick really isn't hard as long as you get the right setup, and you can do this every time. Now that we know the map and what all the tricks are, I gathered my courage and played qualifications. I qualified rank 3298 with a time of a 1.52.73. This isn't my best performance, but considering the map, it wasn't that bad. And with that, Khaki of the day was about to start, and I had no idea that this would be one of the biggest moments of my Trackmania career. Round 1 of Cup of the Day started, and I was looking really good. With completing tricks 1 through 4 easily, I was on a pace that I had never been on before. Then it was on to trick number 5. I would line up the jump and get a proper bug slide. However, disaster would strike. Right before the finish, I crashed and had to respawn. This would lose me a lot of time, and if I was among the last players, I would be eliminated. But when I did respawn, I would make another big mistake and let go of the accelerator, which spun me out of control and threw me out of the map again. Once again, I respawned, and this time I finally got into the finish. Although this did end up being a new personal best time of a 109, I did notice something major. I have a plugin installed that would tell me what my time would have been if I didn't respawn at all, and it said a 101.89, which is a time that was extremely good and something I never thought I could actually get, and this would only be a sneak peek at what would come in the future. So as round 1 ended, it would show just how difficult this map truly was, as 17 players would be eliminated, meaning that they couldn't even finish the map at all. Round 2 would come and go with me getting first place and a new personal best time of a 108, but the next round would be the one that would shake me to my core. As round 3 started, I would fail the first trick and my car would turn upside down and lose me a lot of time. I would manage to get it flipped over and head to the next trick. Trick number 2, I would end up not having enough speed and failing the jump, causing me to respawn and fail the jump again. This is where I started to worry, as I was only one spot away from being in a position where I could get eliminated, so I knew I had to step up my game. Trick number 3 would come and go without a problem. However, on trick number 4, disaster struck again. I would go into the jump too far to the left and not get my car high enough in the air, causing me to be too low and needing to respawn. This time, I would do the same mistake again, and the thought of getting out would now start to flood my brain. So, on attempt number 3, I made sure I jumped high enough and made it to the platform. However, I wouldn't be safe just yet, as trick number 5 awaited me around the next corner. But I would be able to line up the jump and nail the bug slide, finishing in 14th place and securing my position in the top 26. Round 4 would start and I would fail the first trick by not getting on the platform, but that wouldn't stop me, as I would then get tricks 2 through 5 perfect and setting a new personal best time for myself with a 101.240, which is the fastest time that the entire lobby has ever seen. This round would also propose another issue, as not only would 4 players get eliminated, but 3 more would be added on, meaning that 7 players got eliminated in this one round because they couldn't finish the map, meaning the next round would be huge. Round 5 would start with only 19 players remaining, so I knew I had to try my best, as any round after this, only 2 players, rather than 4, would be eliminated. I would proceed to fail trick number 1 in a fashion that was really bad and wasted a lot of time. Trick 2 would be completed without much issues, and trick 3 would take 2 attempts. I would then notice that I am in 10th place out of 19. If I was in 16th place, I would have been in trouble of being eliminated. It was then time for the hardest trick on the map, trick number 4, where I would fail the initial slide 4 times and decide to take the safe route, which is a lot slower, but I didn't have the speed to make the jump. I would then touch the next checkpoint and my position was now 16, meaning I was in trouble of being knocked out of the event. But with trick number 5, which I was pretty good at, I would nail it and finish in 7th place, saving myself for at least another round. Rounds 6 through 12 would come and go, with me getting 5 first place finishes and 1 second place finish to bring me to round 13, which was the quarterfinals. Round 13 would start with only 4 players remaining: me, Voxel, Lexa, and Television. I would make a mistake on trick number 1 and be stuck in a turtle and decided to not respawn and wait it out, which turned out to be a major mistake as I lost a lot of time compared to the other players. Knowing how bad that start was, I knew I needed to be fast and play some of the fastest Trackmania of my life. I would one-shot trick 2 and 3, but when it came to trick number 4, I almost made a mistake that cost everything. Going into this trick, I was in a safe position with Lexa making a mistake. However, taking this jump, I would jump a little too far to the left, causing me to jump too low and getting a lucky flip that put my car onto the platform. However, my rear tire was hanging off and it took a little while to get it back up. I lost so much time that when I finally got to the checkpoint, I was in the red and behind Lexa again. So making sure I got this final trick would be vital to my survival. I would line up my jump and perform an amazing bug slide to be able to save myself from elimination and put me in the semifinals. The semifinals would start and I would end up finishing without much problems in first place with a 106.46. However, my non-respawn timer would be a 101.11, meaning that I was on a new personal best pace that again, no one in the lobby could drive. But with winning this round, I would now be in the grand finals on a map I could have never dreamed of being in the grand finals for, as I have never won a cup of the day, so this was going to be a lot of pressure. It would now be time for the grand finals, and I would take a deep breath, put my head down, and play some amazing Trackmania. On trick 1, I would get on the platform, but get a bad landing, causing me to lose some time. So when I hit the checkpoint, I was over half a second behind first place. Trick number 2, I would complete without any problems, and when I hit the next checkpoint, I would be only slightly behind first place, meaning that I gained a lot of time. Trick number 3 would turn out to be no problem for me, and I would complete it first try. Trick number 4, I would do safely and make it to the platform. However, I didn't realize that my opponent was over 6 seconds behind me, but now I needed to make sure I didn't throw. But as luck would have it, on trick number 5, I would get an amazing bug slide into the finish, getting a final time of a 102.50, which no other player in that division could drive, giving me my first cup of the day win on one of the hardest map styles in the game. Through all the worry and stress, I would step up when I needed to most. This was the story of how I won one of Trackmania's most difficult maps. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate a sub, and for you to check me out on kick.com/yuppy, as I do cup of the day every day at 1 p.m. EST. Thank you for watching.